Again, the Stallone thing. It's like Stallone's really good at playing like dim-witted lead actors who are kind of stoic and don't say a ton, and they're just kind of soldiering forward in life, like.
And what really set him atop for me was his portrayal of Mace Montana, the owner operator of Cabrini Circus in the 1988 cult classic Big Top Pee Wee.
So there are so many musicians turned actors, and we've done our best to narrow down our list of top 5. We each have a list. What we're going by is like our favorite, like their filmography, looking at it, maybe gauging their performances in those movies, but more so like judging by our favorites of their like output as far as movies goes, and not like their acting chops necessarily. Is that fair? Is that kind of how you went by it too?
Yeah, and I'm glad I sent you a message earlier, just kind of gauging what your criteria was, so I could match it, because I was having trouble. I mean, like you said, there's just so many successful actors who started their careers as musicians. So, yeah, this was a tough exercise, but yeah, that's what I did. I thought about, hey, who has been in the films that are my favorites, and the ones that I've enjoyed watching on the big screen.
We'll just kick it off with number 5 on our list. You want to go first? Who you got? Who's number 5?
We like to pick our favorites, so we'll maybe later we can kind of give a honorable mentions list. But yeah, here we go. Number 5. I think you're gonna like this one. I don't know if it made your list, but I know this person's on your radar, and you're a fan of this person just like I am. Number 5 for me, Chris Christopherson.
Oh, such a good one. Such a good one. On my short list. It didn't make the cut, but it was so hard not to put him on there.
Okay, Chris Christopherson. He's my number 5 because like Snoop Dogg, Chris Christopherson has lived a fairy tale / Forrest Gump like existence. His story is too crazy to believe at times. Started as a musician, wrote some songs in the 60s and 70s. He wrote Me and Bobby McGee. First recorded by a country singer and then later made famous by Janis Joplin. Recorded albums, toured, and sang on stage. Maybe I guess his breakthrough acting would be 1976 film. What's it called? A Star is Born with Barbara Streisand.
That's right.
So, that really put him on the map. But Chris Christopherson, if you're not familiar with him, go Google him, because his career is unbelievable. Maybe the peak of his career and why he's on number 5 for me, you may say the Blade trilogy, but I had to go deeper than that. And what really set him atop for me was his portrayal of Mace Montana, the owner operator of Cabrini Circus in the 1988 cult classic Big Top Pee Wee. It's probably was the height of, although not nominated for that performance, probably the height of his acting career.
Wow, I forgot about that. That's a good call. And what a good actor. Man,
when's the last time you saw Big Top Pee Wee?
I would have to say it's been when did it come out?
1988.
I probably saw it in the 90s. I don't know if I've seen it in the last 30 years, but man, I watched it a lot as a kid. Dude, that's a strong opening play. I really like your.
Sorry, I had to go on a Big Top Pee Wee tangent there.
Anytime you want to take me into the Paul Rubens world, I'm ready to go with you, my friend. I think you'll be surprised by my number 5, but I think that Janelle Monáe in Hidden Figures and in Moonlight, like that's how she kind of started her acting career. Was in those 2 movies. incredible performances in both. Really caught my attention. Actually, I'd seen her before. Like I think I watched her on like an SNL thing, and that's where she caught my attention. Obviously, a great musician, but her acting chops are actually really solid, and I had to put her in the list. She's also in Glass Onion, Knives Out, which not as crazy about those movies, but I like her in them. And anytime that she's in something, I'm curious to check it out because I think she's really good. And yeah, Janelle Monáe was my number five.
I love it.
What's your number four?
Number four is a blast from the past. I'm going way back here. Bing Crosby.
Wow.
Yeah. So Bing Crosby for me, the reason he's on my list is I've had a Christmas family tradition of watching White Christmas that stars Bing Crosby since I was a kid. Now I'm watching it with my kids. The iconic Christmas song "White Christmas" comes from this movie. But yeah, I mean, Bing Crosby won an Oscar in 1945 with "Going My Way." So I think he was nominated for Best Actor two more times. So very accomplished actor. But if you're not familiar with Bing Crosby, let me say I loved doing this list and loved compiling my list, and it made me think of our parents, and it made me think of how old we are as I'm like as I'm putting Bing Crosby on my list. I feel like we're at that great age where we were shown all those old movies by our parents. So we have that frame of reference, but now we're also watching, all the new movies with our kids. So I don't know. I tell you what, I did get my kids to sit through Sound of Music. They like that, but I am enjoying, hoping to pass that tradition of watching all those great old films with my kids. But anyway, yeah, Bing Crosby, number four. What's your number four, bud?
My number four, Kentucky native, just like the two of us, famous country singer, but an incredible actor, especially in movies like Sling Blade, Panic Room, and Logan Lucky. Going with Dwight Yoakam, number four on my list. I love it when he pops up in movies and TV shows. And sometimes it's just a small cameo. Like I think he pops up in the beginning of Wedding Crashers, and they're just like, "Hey, it's Dwight." Love Dwight Yoakam. I mean, also it's also nice too. Like, I mean, it's true for Janelle Monáe, it's true for Dwight Yoakam, but a lot of these are actually musicians that I like too. It wasn't a criteria for me. As we'll talk about in a bit. But Dwight is one that I've seen him live. He's incredible live. I think one of the best of his era, of that era of country music. And, you and I both talked about this a lot. We weren't like huge into country at that time, but I worked in country music radio like in the 90s. It was a job as just a DJ at our local and I wasn't super into the genre, but when Dwight would come on, I'd be like, there's my guy. And I feel the same way when he pops up in movies. So I think the best, if I were to say his best role, is probably Sling Blade. He's the bad guy in that. And boy, is he good. Is he a good, nasty, just SOB. So love Dwight. He's my number four. Who is your number three?
Number three. You may have heard of this gentleman. His name is Ice Cube. Well, I mean, that's not the name his mom gave him, but that's his moniker, Ice Cube. So, gosh, Ice Cube, another just giant in the entertainment industry, starts in hip hop, fundamental in gangster rap, and then bounces on the scene in Boys in the Hood in the early 90s, and then obviously in the Friday, uh, obviously Friday, I think is still just a hilarious movie, but then that movie just became like a franchise on its own. Then I think he's funny in movies like comedies that are fairly recent, like 21 Jump Street and Ride Along with Kevin Hart. So I feel like Ice Cube is definitely achieved some acting success.
Absolutely. That's a really good one. We're going to hear more from our friend Ice, Mr. Cube, in a bit. My number three is another gentleman that you've probably heard of. Okay, now this is not because this man is just the most incredible actor, but he's in so many great movies and he's just all over the place. And that's Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about that.
So Flea is never like he never has more than just a few lines in a movie, but everybody puts him in movies. He's been in Back to the Future 2 and 3, Big Lebowski. I was watching Queen and Slim the other night, and he just pops up in there. Baby Driver, Babylon, Fear and Loathing. I mean, if I'm just looking at like filmography, Flea's is so strong. And again, not that Flea hasn't been nominated for an Academy Award, like nothing like that. But yeah, still, I mean, just look at the man's track record. Whatever he does, I don't know if he's just a fun hang. I do think he does bring something to each of those roles. When you think of him as like nihilist number 2 in Big Lebowski, like it's a memorable face, it's a memorable performance, even though it is pretty minimal. And yeah, I had to put Flea in there. It was just a matter of where he fit in my top 5, and he's fitting in at number 3. How about you?
I love it. I just totally forgot that Flea is active, but yeah, I think that's a great choice. Okay, so we're ready to go to number two.
Ready, number 2?
Number two, Will Smith.
Mm,
I mean, just a giant,
yeah.
right? And I was thinking about some of these entertainers and thought, is their music career, did they really have a music career, or was it just that was like their kickoff point? But you look at Will Smith, he's got some albums that are very successful, certainly came on the scene and established himself as a star, as a recording artist, and then in TV and film, where I would argue, up until the Chris Rock slap, Will Smith is like on the top of the Hollywood list when people are making movies that they're like, okay, this is going to be an Academy Award winning film, or this is going to be a giant box office success. He's on the top list of actors that are going to get the offer the job.
It's a great one. I thought a lot about Will Smith, and I did. I was like, am I leaving him off of this because of the slap? Like, is that the reason I'm leaving him off of my list? And I don't know why. I think it was just a tough category. It's tough to like order them and prioritize them. But ultimately, man, look at his career. He is the type of guy. He's winning Academy Awards. He has had hits. It's kind of like undeniable. Like he's a force to be reckoned with, and absolutely makes sense as a number 2. My number 2, it was your number 3, I think, which was Ice Cube. Boys in the Hood. You mentioned Friday, 21 Jump Street. A really funny guy. I also really like him in movies like he's in Three Kings, which was a David O. Russell movie, with Clooney and Mark Wahlberg and Spike Jonze. Just a really great. He just fits. I wouldn't call him a character actor necessarily, because it's not like he's a chameleon and can play a million different types of things. He's often Ice Cube. You know what I mean? Like in the movies, he's not, he's playing a version of himself, but he does it really well. He's very naturalistic, and happy that we both have him on the list. I think he fully deserves it. And this brings us to the number 1 spot. I'm wondering if we have the same number 1 here, but I'm curious to see, who do you got?
I think we do have the same number 1, because I had to message you earlier and say, I think I'm leaving this person off because I can't even count his music career as a music career, but you encouraged me not to do so, and so we've got to put him on the list. It's Marky Mark, previously Marky Mark. You know him as Mark Wahlberg, the Hollywood titan that he has become. Mark Wahlberg is my number 1. I mean, just look at the movies that he's in. Just unbelievable when you start listing the films like The Departed, um, The Fighter.
Boogie
Gosh,
Nights.
the Boogie Nights. Thank you. Golly, yeah. And then he's crossed over to do the pop comedies too, with like Daddy's Home and things like that. Which I think he's funny in those. He makes a great straight character in a comedy, alongside with the likes of like Will Ferrell. So is that your number one also?
Number one, Mark Wahlberg, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, bringing it home. Like you said, Boogie Nights, The Departed, The Fighter, also in Three Kings, I Heart Huckabees, which is one of my favorite sort of sneaky movies to get in there. Three of those movies are David O. Russell movies, by the way, just has a good collaboration with that director. But Marky Mark, man, Mark Wahlberg, okay, big time producer. Like you can't get away from his morning routine. Guys waking up at like 4:30 a.m., eating just some like tuna and just working out for 18 hours. The man is in incredible shape. He did have that music career, even though, yeah, sure, that's not why we really like him. It's a fair question. Your question's a fair one of like, this, do we even really consider him a musician turned actor at this point? He's just, but I think that speaks to how successful he is. Originally, I think the first thing I saw him in was Basketball Diaries, and it's like, is that Marky? Is that Marky Mark? And then goes on to do some. I mean, it's crazy. You want to talk about a Forrest Gump like career? Okay, here's my take on Mark Wahlberg. I love a lot of Mark Wahlberg's movies. I love Mark Wahlberg in a lot of those movies. I'm not entirely sure Mark Wahlberg's a great actor, which is a crazy thing to say, but he has this Sylvester Stallone sort of thing, which is like, he's great. If you give him a character who's like dumber than he is, and he kind of like, he's, you're like, there's a knowing, like in Boogie Nights, like, it's like, okay, this guy, I don't know if this guy has got it all going on. He crushes parts like that. Like, I'm not going to buy Mark Wahlberg in The Beautiful Mind. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to be solving advanced, he's not Good Will Hunting, like, not buying that. But he doesn't play those types of roles. I do think he improved over the years. I mean, The Fighter, he's so good in that. The Departed, he's, I don't know, the fourth or fifth lead, if that, in that movie. And he kind of steals the show. He's just so abrasive and so funny in that film. So, yeah, Mark Wahlberg, like, you just can't give anyone more props for like working with, I don't want to call it limitations. I mean, the man's a fully capable adult, but like still, it's like with all of these limitations and your like capabilities, you have managed to somehow transcend whatever station in life like you were going to be rooted in, and he is like a titan of Hollywood. So I can't deny the force that is Mark Wahlberg, and that's my number one as well.
I just thought of this while you were talking. Mark Wahlberg is like Tom Cruise if if Tom Cruise didn't take himself seriously and was like, yeah, no, I'm not that great an actor. I just show up and work hard. I just work harder than everybody else. That's what he
Yeah,
is. He's
yeah.
like handsome face, stays in shape, just shows up, like is consummate professional, works hard, shows up, and like you said, they know Hollywood knows what he is. So they're not asking him to play Billy Bob Thornton's character in Sling Blade and be like, okay, we need you to rearrange your face. Like they're not trying. He's not getting the roles of who'd he play with in The Fighter. What's that?
Oh,
Christian
Christian
Bale.
Bale,
Yeah,
right? He's
he's
not,
not.
no.
They're not asking him to like totally change his physique and just give this amazing performance. Like, look, you just show up and be you, to be exactly who you are, and that's what we need. So he's done it well, and like you said, he's smart. He's one of those guys that uh, pretty much anything he has his hands in is going to be successful. And he's not just being playing leading roles in movies. He's got his hands in it in a lot of different areas. I feel like his I feel like the pinnacle of his acting career was in Boogie Nights, where he had to pretend like he couldn't sing, and he was like, "Feel, feel, 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 feel my heat."
Feel my heat. I think I like how you are also like pretend like he can't sing. Like that was like he had to really work at that one. I I don't know. I'm thinking of like what is it? Good vibrations, not good vibrations. What is that? The
Yeah,
Marky Mark?
good. Yeah,
Thinking like good vibrations, and it's like, did Mark prove to us that he's got pipes? I don't know, but either way, I do feel like it's again the Stallone thing. It's like Stallone's really good at playing like dim-witted lead actors who are kind of stoic and don't say a ton, and they're just kind of soldiering forward in life, like like he's great as Rocky and as Rambo, and he's great in Copland. Just don't put him in we're not trying to rewatch Rhinestone or Oscar or anything like that. But meanwhile, though, you're right. Mark Wahlberg can fit into comedies, and he knows where to fit in. Whereas Stallone didn't quite know his limitations. He's like, I could be the funny guy. Like with Mark Wahlberg, is kind of like, I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna play off of Will Ferrell, and I'll just be the straight man in like these 3 Will Ferrell comedies. And he does a great job in that. So he's kind of figured out how to fit into you look at The Departed. To steal the show in The Departed, I mean, I will give him credit. He does have some chops. You can't pull that off. I mean, he's in scenes with Leo and Martin Sheen, and then of course that movie has such a cast. It also has Matt Damon and Jack Nicholson. And when you Alec Baldwin, you come away from that being like, man, Marky Mark was really good in that. Like that says something about your chops. So I don't want to completely dismiss what he's capable of.
that's true. You know what else he showed us in Good Vibrations is he could really do this well. Come on,
Feel it.
come on. Like you've got to master that before you make the jump into acting to be able to.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, I'm trying to think. Surely there's another hit in there somewhere. Probably not.
That music video was on MTV
It was.
nonstop. It's
Yeah.
burnt in my brain. Him bench pressing cinder blocks on the end because he's so hood in a sewage drain thing where he has to work out because he's so hood now that he's rapping. Yeah, that music video was incredible.
Also, okay, so if we're doing honorable mentions, I rattled off a few in the beginning, but you probably have to give one to his brother too, right? Like,
That's true.
Donnie.
I didn't even think about that.
Man, Donnie's been around. I mean, you think of like The Sixth Sense, and just like he usually pops up in roles like that. Of course, he's had that long-standing role in TV, on that one show where he plays that one guy on that one thing.
Law and Order, maybe?
Sure,
And
sure.
like if you stay in that genre, there's a whole list of those singers.
Ice-T.
Like Ice-T.
Yeah.
You mentioned Queen Latifah earlier.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lopez.
Yep.
What else? Although I would say Jennifer Lopez and Queen Latifah both have some pretty, they have some pretty accomplished roles that they've been recognized for. So, this I think, hip hop artists. I heard Will Smith say at one time, hip hop artists make good actors because you have to kind of have this persona as a hip hop artist. A lot of people in rock music or, maybe pop music, maybe they're being themselves on stage, but you had to have a persona for hip hop. Like most of those people in the business are probably not actual dudes like packing heat, like ready to turn a body cold and whatever. So, they had to always have that presence, which helped them in front of the camera too.
Absolutely. I can think of so many examples of that. You think of RZA, of Method Man. We talked about Queen Latifah. Most Def is really good in some roles that he's been in. Some other honorable mentions. Jennifer Hudson's incredibly talented. Tom Waits, Courtney Love. Justin Timberlake is like genuinely really good in The Social Network, where he plays the guy from Napster. And yeah, like I don't know what kind of range he has, but he's also really good on SNL. I mean, this was not easy. This took some time. It took some toggling. People came in the list, they came off the list. It was like a back and forth. This was challenging in a fun way. But is there anybody I'm leaving off? Have I forgotten
Can
someone?
Well, can I give you some of my honorable mentions from like the Titans from yesteryear?
Please do.
So after Bing Crosby, we had Elvis Presley.
Right.
Just become the first crazy megastar, like the first Michael Jackson type, conquer the globe. I think I read Elvis was in 31 feature films that were all a financial success. Then you have, how about after Elvis, you have the same kind of type celebrity with Barbara Streisand, maybe
Yeah.
just um giant musician, musical career, and then really big acting career, Bette Midler, and
Yeah.
then one of my favorites of these ladies in that same time frame, Dolly Parton
Yeah. She's great.
and Cher.
Yes.
both
Cher's great
both
too.
both had movie roles where they were recognized for their achievement in acting. So there's some of my honorable mentions from the past.
This has been a lot of fun. I think that we could probably come up with even more, and I'm sure we'll be kicking ourselves when we think of some folks that we left off the list. The fun thing might be someday, though this would be a much tougher list for me, would you go the opposite way with this. It's like actors who have notable musical careers. That gets a little tougher. I feel like most actors are like, yeah, I've got a band, and you're like, okay, cool. You know, Keanu Reeves is out there with Dog Star, and there's the Bacon Brothers,
I was
and
going
it's
to
just
say
like
Kevin Bacon, first one that came to my mind.
it'd probably be a little tougher. Like we'd have to do some homework. We'd have to go through and listen to some more obscure artists to do that. But yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun, and I'm sure we'll come up with some variation of this. If you like this, if you enjoyed the video, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel. We love to do lists, and we'll have plenty more to come from. Shit, what am I saying? We'll have plenty more where that came from.
If you know what we're trying to say, please write it in the comments.
If you understand me, please write in the comments below.